All right, welcome back, everyone. Of course, you saw that insane posing in the beginning. Quad check really quick. And that's all. Not gonna check any other parts of the legs. But welcome back to another video. Today, I'm gonna be talking about, I'm torn between two topics. I don't know whether to talk about how I've been kind of growing on TikTok and at least what my plan is going forward to try to gain as many followers and sponsorships and whatever as possible, or the second option, just about muscle memory. For today's video, I think maybe for the next one I'll talk about, or not muscle memory, but like muscle maturity and the topic of that and how to get a crazier look. You know what, maybe I'll just talk about that. All right, so basically there's one thing that's true. Oh wait, I'm also gonna be doing dishes, so I kind of gotta point it like here in the middle. Yeah, that's fine. But muscle maturity. The thing is, your muscles, again, I weigh around 160 something pounds right now. I don't know if it's 162 or 163, but obviously I'm super shredded, and I also have like really good muscle bellies and like muscle size for 160, or being around 160 at 5'9". And the thing is, I've been training for over 3 years now. I think it's gonna be close to, I started when I was 17 turning 18, and right now I'm gonna be 20 turning 21. So technically that is a 3-year difference. I was in and out of the gym when I was 17, but I don't consider that my like exact start to when I actually started working out. I only consider that from 17 to 18 transition, because I was consistently going. I was like tracking protein and stuff like that. And when I went to the gym when I was 17, I wasn't really doing any of that stuff. You know, I was just lifting and doing whatever, making zero progress basically. But yeah, like again, this is me with no pump. Like I can flex any muscle on command, etc. I have all the veins, I have all the striations, stuff like that. And the thing is, your muscle is, you gotta treat it like a human being. Let's put it that way. Like it's more than just pushing the weights. Your muscles, they have memory, right? All muscles have memory, and like muscle memory is that thing where, you know, it's something that you kind of automatically know how to do. It's like your brain and your muscle. Or let's say for playing the piano, I don't read sheet music anymore. I haven't read sheet music in years, but I can sit down and play a lot of things because my brain, over years and years of practicing the piano, my brain is so connected to my hand, right, that whenever I think of a song in my head, it just automatically starts playing. You know what I mean? So that's something that, again, through years of repetition, my hands kind of recognize the pattern. So my brain isn't thinking about notes, it isn't thinking about what's right and what's wrong to play. It's just thinking about the shapes and patterns that I practiced years ago multiple times a day. So with your muscles, it works the same way. As you go training for years and years, doing the same movements over and over again, through enough intensity, meaning through training properly and training heavy and trying to go heavier and heavier each time, progressive overloading, but of course in the same way, or safe way and same way, through doing that repetition over and over again, your muscle kind of learns that, oh, the bicep curl is supposed to target this part of the bicep. And when I do side raises, it's supposed to target, and I'm supposed to feel it in this part of my delt, right? And a lot of things let's say deciders, for example, maybe beginners will say they feel it more in their forearms or they feel it more in their traps because of like incorrect movement or just something like, you know, same thing with training back where they'll be rowing and they'll say, I feel it all in my arms. Like, that's just because you haven't done the movement enough yet, and you also haven't probably done it with the correct form yet enough for you to feel it directly in your lat. Like, I used to have the exact same problem. I felt everything in my arms whenever I was doing pull. But the thing is, not only was my form wrong, but I also was just still very new to hitting pull. So of course it wasn't really hitting the muscles I wanted. But then once I invested in straps and once I learned how to like angle myself in a better way and like actually use the correct range of motion and the correct form, then I started feeling it directly in my lat and I started feeling it less in my arms, etc. Right? So the thing is, once you teach your muscle to do the movement correctly, it automatically learns, right? Because that's the thing about like muscle and muscle maturity. Like, how does your muscle get, like, how does the skin get tighter and the veins appear more and it's more striations and more control? Like, that's all through being able, that's all something you have to teach your muscle, right? That's why I talk about the importance of flexing in the mirror, because every time you hit a pose, you're teaching your muscle to kind of flex on command. Even something like the most muscular, where before when I would do it, I couldn't really control any parts of my delt. But then now when I hit the most muscular, I know I kind of have to roll my shoulders forward and my traps forward and kind of press my delt into my body to get more of that striated look. And if on the right, I compare right of just without flexing my shoulder, it just looks much smaller. So even teaching yourself to be able to just do stuff, right? Something like this, where I'm flexing my shoulder every single time from unflex to flex. And you could just say that that's just my elbow moving, but my elbow can move and I can still not engage my shoulder. But once I engage my shoulder and then I do it, you can see that there's actually more striations, there's more muscles being used, and that's called, I think, I don't know much about the science stuff, but I've heard of motor unit recruitment before, something like that. And the concept, the idea, of course, I'm not the science person, but it all makes sense. Like, you need to get more of your muscles to work together to actually be able to like lift heavier, but also to have a crazier look. Because if I'm not focusing on doing my reps with specifically the part that it's intended to, so stuff like pressing movements or upward pressing movements, if I'm not engaging my shoulders, if I'm not like keeping my back tight and I'm kind of doing it however, I'm gonna use less muscle overall when doing it, you know? It's not enough to just move the weight and to grab the weight. You need to be able to use your muscle in your brain. As you're doing the rep, you need to think, I need my bicep for the bicep curl. I need my bicep to be doing all the work right now. It can't be my forearms grabbing the dumbbell too tight. It can't be my shoulder trying to shrug it up. It has to be all my bicep, right? And to each exercise that you do, you apply that same mechanic. For the chest press, it has to be all in my chest. You can't just tricep press it and not try to contract your chest, not try to get a stretch, a squeeze, you know, full range of motion, which is just what you should be doing. I don't care how deep of a stretch you get or how much of a squeeze you hold for, just get the full range of motion and do the reps. But the point being is, your muscles learn to grow with you. So again, that's why just being in the gym overall is what gets you more jacked, because the more time you spend using your muscles in the gym, right? No matter what exercise you're doing, the more you're teaching your muscles to grow, teaching them to push, because again, that is kind of what defines what intensity is how much you're actually pushing, right? And that's something that's not dictated by the muscle, but also by the mind. So if you're not trying to push as hard as you can mentally and physically at the same time, your muscles won't be able to have that connection with your mind. Okay, that's what the mind muscle connection is. It's your mind and your muscle working together for the same purpose at the same time, doing exactly what you want it to. That's why your form and your reps should be super not strict, but you need to make sure that they're actually doing what they're supposed to do. Because again, if you're not mentally there, you'll lift lighter. You won't have as much motivation. Maybe you won't have as much drive, or you're simply not thinking about using your muscles while you're lifting. But if you're completely locked in, you're focused, and on top of that, you can fully use your mind to control the muscle you want to hit, whether it be your delts, right? Whether it be your tricep. This is just flexing. I'm thinking about flexing my tricep. Like, it's not even my elbow moving, it's quite literally just my tricep, right? But I know that if I flex a certain part of my arm, I can get this striation. That's all stuff being able to teach your muscle how to move, how to work, how to do what you want it to do. Because at the end of the day, again, the more muscle you can use in your lift, the more you can focus and actually feel it 100% in the part that you're supposed to feel it in, the more gains you will see. If you guys like this video, let me know in the comments. Try to put more stuff out for you guys. It's gonna be mainly talking videos, but that's kind of what I want my YouTube channel to be. I just want to be able to say whatever I'm thinking and try to give advice to help everyone. But yeah, stay